The five-star restaurant Lumiere shimmered. Golden chandeliers glowed brilliantly, reflecting Alara's icy diamond jewelry. The notoriously cold 32-year-old CEO Alara Voss entered with her 6-year-old son Evan. Evan tightly clutched her expensive designer dress, whispering, "Mom, I'm scared of the crowd." Alara was heading to the VIP section when she abruptly stopped. She saw a single dad, weary but smiling in a faded shirt, expertly cutting pasta for his giggling 7-year-old daughter. Evan froze, utterly captivated. Alara frowned deeply. Evan stopped staring at that humble table. But the boy whispered, "Mom, I want to sit next to them." Daniel Hayes, 36, was exhausted but happy. He was a single father juggling two demanding jobs, a delivery driver by day and a building maintenance man by night, all to provide for his 7-year-old daughter Lily. Despite their limited budget, Daniel always made sure to take Lily out for a special, inexpensive weekend meal. Today was especially important. Lily had brought home a perfect report card. The Lumiere was far out of their league, but Daniel had found a small hidden cafe next door. When a staff member mistakenly seated them in a quiet corner of the main high-end Lumiere dining area, Daniel didn't correct them, fearing the shame of being moved. He simply wanted Lily to enjoy the fancy lights for just one evening. Lily was a ray of sunshine, bright, curious, and remarkably friendly. She was busy admiring the shimmering chandeliers, entirely unaware that the most powerful photographed woman in the city was about to walk into her life. Alara Voss, meanwhile, had chosen this evening for a carefully orchestrated soft media reintroduction to the public. She had planned to take the discreet VIP table, but Evan refused to budge. "Mom, I want to sit with that girl," Evan insisted, pulling her sleeve. "She looks so happy." Alara realized her own wealth had bought him silence, not joy. A nervous floor manager approached Alara, whispering urgently, "Madam, that family, they may not be suitable for your seating area." Alara looked from her son's pleading eyes to the manager's condescending face. "My son decides," she stated flatly. She walked straight to Daniel's small, inconspicuous corner table. Daniel looked up and nearly choked on his water. He found himself face to face with Alara Voss, the woman whose face graced every business magazine. Alara skipped the pleasantries. "My son wishes to join your table, may we?" Lily, delighted by the prospect of a new playmate, beamed. "Yes, you can sit right here, Mississippi." Daniel, flustered, quickly pulled out a chair for her. The two children instantly connected. Evan, reserved moments ago, was captivated by Lily's infectious laughter. They spoke about school cartoons and their father's superpowers. Daniel and Alara, two people worlds apart, sat in an awkward, profound silence. As Daniel gently finished cutting Lily's pasta into perfect, manageable pieces, Evan leaned over the table, his eyes fixed on the task. Alara watched Daniel's hands, strong, scarred hands that had clearly known hard work. The boy asked Daniel, his voice soft with genuine need, "So can you cut mine for me too?" Alara froze entirely. Her son Evan had never asked anyone other than his full-time nanny to perform such a simple, loving act. A group of powerful clients seated at a nearby table immediately noticed the scene. Whispers started circulating, sharp and judgmental. Is she having a crisis? Perhaps a very literal public relations stunt. Alara, who despised gossip, tensed, ready to stand up and end the dinner. But Evan's small hand gripped her arm. "Mom, I like him, he's like a superhero." Lily, ever loyal, chimed in. "My daddy is a superhero, he can fix anything." Alara found herself smiling, a genuine human smile she rarely allowed herself. Daniel, keenly aware of the growing spectacle, quickly ordered the cheapest item on the menu. Evan, watching Lily eat with delight, declared cheerfully, "I want the same dish as Lily." The waiter, recognizing Daniel's worn shirt and cheap watch, looked him up and down with overt contempt. "Can you afford that, sir? That is a premium dish." Alara's eyes flashed with cold anger. "Bring 2 more servings and send the check to my corporate account immediately," she commanded. A prominent society woman, Mrs. Harding, from the nearby table, couldn't contain her spite. "I thought the Voss dynasty dined with the elite, not janitors." Daniel lowered his face, already accustomed to this casual contempt. Lily, however, was furious. She stood up on her chair. "My daddy is better than everyone here, he helps people, you are all mean." Evan immediately stood up too, joining her side. "Mr. Daniel is better than all the boring drivers at my house, he knows how to smile." Alara watched the two children standing together, a small, fierce, protective army around Daniel. It was the most animated, passionate thing she had ever seen her son do. But the moment of connection was brutally interrupted. Alara's personal assistant rushed into the restaurant, eyes wide with panic. "Miss Voss, emergency board meeting, someone is trying to stage a corporate coup." The entire restaurant turned to watch. Alara's face, usually so composed, went visibly pale. Her hand began to tremble uncontrollably. Daniel, instantly assessing her, recognized the physiological signs: acute stress leading to hypoglycemic collapse. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed the glass of water and a packet of sugar and shoved them into her hand. Alara drank the sweet cold water, and after a few frantic minutes her breathing stabilized. She looked up at Daniel, her voice trembling with shock and gratitude. Why did you help me?" Daniel's gaze was steady, focused on Evan, who was now clutching his mother's arm, terrified. "Because your son needs his mother alive," he simply said. Alara realized that in the moment of her greatest weakness, the only person who saw her as a vulnerable human being was the man everyone else had dismissed. Once Alara was stable, she quietly ushered Daniel and the children into the restaurant's private VIP lounge. Evan and Lily were already engaged in a game of tag, their innocent laughter echoing softly. Alara sat opposite Daniel, finally letting her guard down. "They are trying to discredit me by spreading rumors that I am not mentally or physically fit to run the company." Daniel looked at his teacup. "Which is why you experienced the acute stress response you are running on empty, Miss Voss." Alara looked up, surprised. "You read that accurately. What is your background, Daniel?" Daniel hesitated, avoiding her penetrating gaze. Then Evan ran in, pulling at his sleeve. "Tell the story about the time you saved someone, Uncle Daniel." Alara looked at Daniel, her curiosity piqued. Daniel let out a long breath. "I was an emergency trauma doctor in the military," he revealed. "I specialized in combat field medicine and acute psychological triage. But I left the field entirely after my wife died from a surgical error. I couldn't save her. I decided I didn't deserve to save anyone else." Alara's eyes softened, recognizing the profound grief and guilt hidden behind his simple life. Then the first twist arrived. Evan, who had been laughing moments before, suddenly stopped running. His face went alarmingly white and he gripped his chest. Alara panicked. Evan, what's wrong?" Daniel immediately grabbed the boy's wrist and checked his pulse. "His heart rate is spiking. He is having an acute panic attack." Evan hyperventilated, tears streaming down his face. "Mom, I'm scared you'll get hurt. I'm scared you'll disappear." Alara tried to hold him, but Evan recoiled slightly. Alara realized she didn't know how to console him. Daniel, seeing Alara's helplessness, took decisive action. He scooped the terrified boy into his arms. "It's okay, I'm right here, you are safe, breathe with me." Minutes later, the boy's breathing normalized. He relaxed fully against Daniel's chest. Alara watched the scene and her eyes welled up with silent tears. She had never seen such instant, profound trust. The second twist immediately followed. Alara's assistant burst back into the room. "Miss Voss, the video of you collapsing in the restaurant is going viral. The board is meeting to invoke the fitness clause." Alara sank into the chair, devastated. They will use this public weakness against me. It's over." Daniel stood up, his voice decisive and firm. "You are not a cold CO, Miss Voss, you are a mother, and they are using your motherhood against you." Alara broke down. "No one," she choked out, "no one has ever said that to me before." Daniel placed his hand on her shoulder. "Let me help you. You don't fight a coup with power, you fight it with truth." He quickly analyzed the situation. "The person running this coup needed more than just a boardroom vote," Daniel stated. "The head of operations, Mr. Sterling, has always wanted your chair. We don't deny the collapse, we reframe it. We turn his weapon, the video, into your testament to sacrifice." Alara was astonished. "You're thinking 10 steps ahead of my legal team." Daniel shook his head. "I only know one thing, your son needs you to be strong." Evan ran to Daniel, hugging his waist tightly. "Please don't leave us, Uncle Daniel, I need you to stay with Mommy." Alara, utterly humbled and grateful, invited Daniel and Lily back to her opulent mansion for dinner. Evan was waiting by the door, greeting Lily like a long-lost sister. They immediately ran off to explore the grand house, their combined laughter filling the previously echoing halls. The dinner was warm, relaxed, and intimate. For the first time in years, Alara laughed wholeheartedly, her cold mask completely gone. Lily entertained them all with stories of her dad's superhero moments. Evan listened, captivated, laughing so hard he nearly fell off his chair. Later, Alara and Daniel had a quiet conversation in the library. "How do you manage to be so present?" Alara asked. Daniel smiled sadly. "I don't delegate because I can't afford to, but more importantly, I don't delegate because I realize the hard way that presence is the most precious thing we own." Evan tugged on his mother's hand. "Mom, Uncle Daniel is just like a father to me, he makes things okay." Alara froze. Alara led Daniel out to the massive empty terrace. "For years I believed I could buy everything my son needed," she confessed. "But tonight I realized I bought him loneliness." Daniel nodded slowly. "Money creates distance, Alara, but love closes it." Alara stopped Daniel at the mansion's massive oak door. "Will you come to the company tomorrow? I need someone I can absolutely trust by my side." Daniel nodded. "For your son, I will be there." The next morning, Daniel walked into the emergency shareholders meeting with Alara. Lily and Evan walked in front of them, their hands linked. The conspirator Mr. Sterling smirked, ready to present the viral video as proof of Alara's incompetence. Daniel stepped forward, calmly commandeering the presentation screen. He quickly broke down the viral video, proving it was deliberately filmed by a low-level assistant hired by the head of operations. Then Daniel shifted his focus. "This is not a medical report, it is a character analysis," Daniel stated. Mr. Sterling used Miss Voss's moment of human weakness to attempt a hostile takeover. Daniel produced documented evidence, a digital trail that exposed the entire calculated attempt. The shareholders were shocked. They immediately turned on the conspirator. Sterling was escorted out of the meeting, his reputation instantly ruined. A major shareholder, Mrs. Harding, stood up. "Who is this man? His competence is stunning." Alara looked directly at Daniel. "He is Daniel Hayes, and he is the only person who never turned his back on me." The board immediately offered him a permanent position. Daniel firmly refused the standard terms. "I will only accept if Lily and Evan are part of this arrangement. My work schedule must allow me to remain a fully present father." Evan ran up and hugged Daniel's leg. "Please stay forever, Uncle Daniel, we need you here." Alara looked at Daniel, her defenses finally permanently gone. "I want you to stay too. Daniel is my partner in every sense of the word." Daniel laughed, a genuine joyful sound, tears welling in his eyes. "I think we just might be." The final scene, Alara took Daniel's hand, a silent promise exchanged. They were no longer the cold CEO and the struggling single dad. They were two parents united. The two children ran ahead, their laughter carrying on the wind. A new unconventional family created not by blood or wealth but by a shared moment of vulnerability, earned respect and unconditional love.